Hey there, math peeps. This is Chad Durrell. I wanted to make a quick instructional video on how to use Zoom to make instructional videos for your students. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is go ahead and open up Zoom. Now, I know this is a program that you're probably already familiar with, but you're not going to join a meeting. You're not going to schedule a meeting. You're actually just going to click New Meeting. And what this is going to do is open up a new meeting with just you in it. And there I am. Mine usually asks me if I want to join with computer audio. And there I am. So click that. No, I do not want to invite anybody. This is just for me to make a video. So the two main features that we're going to be using, one is share screen, which we'll do in just a moment, and the other is underneath more. If I click more, I get this little button that says record on this computer. I want to go ahead and click that, and you'll notice at the top left-hand corner is my recording. So once you click that button, that's when your instructional video will start. Okay, so just word of warning there. You can pause the recording and come back to it. When you're done, then you stop recording. Obvious, right? Which I don't want to do the recording through Zoom right now because I'm doing it on a screencast. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And then it will tell me at the top right, this recorded file will be converted to MP4 when the meeting ends. MP4 is a video file. That is the type of file that you need to upload to Edsby, to YouTube, to Nearpod, or whatever other source that you're going to use with your students. The other thing, of course, I said was screen share. Okay, so when you click screen share, it's going to ask you what screen do you want to share. I can share my whole screen, I can share a whiteboard, which we'll get to in just a little bit, or I can share a specific window that is open. For this particular purpose, I'm just going to share just my whole screen. So I'm going to share, and so now all of this in that green box is being recorded on Zoom. Well, it would be if I had continued recording it. Okay, so once you are in the share screen mode and you're still talking to your students, then you can use it to do your actual lesson. I think there's kind of three major ways to do that. One is with a PDF file. So here is a Pearson worksheet that I just got from some of the contingency plans. And let's say I wanted to do a lesson on this for third grade. So I would open this up and I could start talking. But what if I wanted to write on it and show, right? Well, that's the other really neat thing about Zoom is if I hover up here at the top, all right, my little toolbar will come down and you see this annotate. Okay, so I'm going to click that, and this another toolbar will drop down. So I have mouse, select, text, draw, stamp, all of these other ones. Okay, the default one is draw. Okay, that one is the one you'll probably primarily use. You can also make lines and arrows. That's a highlighter there, and these are ways that you can make boxes and things like that as well. Stamps, if you want to use those. Spotlight, what that does is it just creates a red dot, right? Like a little laser beam following your mouse around. That's all that is. Eraser, that one obviously is really important. I know some of you like to change your colors, the thickness of your pen, or whatnot. This font down here, this is for the text if you do that. So I'm going to put it in draw, and then I can actually talk to my students about the lesson, right? I can actually deliver that information to them and talk about, what's happening in each one of these and how does this work, okay? So PDF is one way to do that. Now I will tell you that the writing on here is kind of like one of those laminated sheets where you put the worksheet inside of it and the kids write on top. This is a screen layer that you are writing on top of. This is not going on the PDF. Okay, that is important. Now, let's say I needed to go to the next page. Well, I'm in pen mode. I can't do that. Okay, if I try to come over here and do that, it just writes on the screen, right? So what I have to do is come up here and I have to click mouse. And so that will give me my mouse control back. And that way I can actually go to the next page, which you'll notice that as I go to the next page, what happens to that writing? It stays right there, doesn't it? Yep. So it'd be like I would pulling a sheet out and putting another sheet into that sheet protector. The writing's still there, but it doesn't match up to what's underneath it, okay? So that's what this little clear button is here, up here is for. I can use the eraser and I can erase it all. There's not much on my screen right now. But if I wanted to clear everything, then I would just click clear all drawings and I could start fresh. Okay. Now, if I did want to save what I had on there, I could save it, but you have the video, you're recording it. So I'm not really sure if you're going to use that feature or not. Okay. So PDF is one good way to use that. Another good way to use it is with a PowerPoint. Now, I know a lot of you use PowerPoint to you put an audio track over that, and so it is kind of like delivering a lesson. I like the Zoom a little better because you kind of have this video here and the kids love to see you. So that's why I prefer this a little bit more. Now, what I will say is that if you are doing a PowerPoint, I would make sure to put it in presentation mode, okay? So that only the slide itself shows up. You don't have this toolbar up here. You don't have the slides on the side. It is just the slide itself, okay? I think that's really kind of important. It's less distraction there for the students, and they can focus on only what's being there, okay? So I still have my annotate up. Now, if you do happen to close it out, all right, not a problem. Just come back up here and hover, and you can click annotate again, and you get that toolbar back. And then you can go ahead and start talking and teaching, right? And you can go ahead and do what you need to do on the PowerPoint slide. Now, again, it's not writing it on the slide, okay? It is writing it on a sheet over that. So if I need to go to the next slide, okay, if I need to go to the next slide, I have to click mouse, and then I can actually go to the next slide. And of course, you see, as I change slides, it's still, the writing is still there. So I want to clear my drawings off before I start to talk about the next page, and make sure you go back to draw. And so now we can draw on this again, okay? So that's another way to do that, is through PowerPoint, okay? Another way that I think is really neat to use with Zoom, well, was I gonna exit? There we go, is virtual manipulatives. I know a lot of us use a lot of manipulatives in class, but of course that's probably something that we don't have with us, right? We don't have that, and it doesn't work really well when I'm just trying to hold it in front of a camera. It doesn't work, okay? So we need to use these online virtual manipulatives that might make things a little bit easier for us when we're trying to teach, okay? So I have my geo board, and here I've got a trapezoid, right? I can do a square, right? I can do a rectangle if I wanted to. I could even do a triangles, you know, obviously whatever you'd use a geo board for, lots of different ways that we can do that. And I did want to make a separate video on how to use some of these online manipulatives, because I know some of you aren't very familiar with them. A lot of them are pretty intuitive, and they're a lot like the physical manipulatives themselves, but that's for another video, okay? Now, the last thing that I wanted to share with you that I think would be helpful in a Zoom meeting when you're creating these instructional videos is the whiteboard, okay? So I'm gonna go up here to New Share. It's gonna ask me the same thing about which one do you wanna share, and I want to share whiteboard, okay? Well, when I do that, just the whiteboard shows up, exactly what we thought it does. And you'll notice that the annotate button automatically comes down, okay? And so for the whiteboard, that's exactly what it sounds like, okay? So I can say, like, you know, 423 divided by 3, right? And I can work out that, or whatever problem that we're working on. That's obviously one way that you can do that, okay? So I know that's a lot of information, but let me finish up the Zoom meeting here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm going to stop share. And then, of course, once I stop share, it comes back to just my face in the recording, and then I want to wrap up my recording. Thanks for your time, guys. It was great. I hope you're staying safe and healthy. And then I'm going to go to end meeting. It's going to ask me, do I want to end the meeting for all? Well, yeah, it's just yourself, so yes. Okay, and you'll notice then the box comes up, convert meeting recording. Now, I didn't have a very long recording on Zoom, so it didn't take very long, but sometimes if you have a longer recording, it is going to take some time. So just be patient with that, and it will eventually happen. Once it's done, it's going to open up a new window that has a couple of files in it. You have audio only, you have playback, but the main one that you really want to use is this bottom one. It's called Zoom_0. And if you'll notice, that is your video file. Okay, this is the file that you're going to use to upload to Edsby, to upload to Nearpod, or however you're sharing those videos with your students. You'll obviously want to rename it. Okay. Now, what Zoom does is it creates a folder in your documents. Okay, so if whatever computer you're on, you go to the documents, and you'll notice there's a new folder called Zoom. So you click on Zoom, and you'll see here's all my different recordings. And so this is the one here, and there it is. All right, and then that is the session that you would have had from that day. Okay, so hopefully this has given you some insight on how to do that. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, to reach out, and I will definitely help you with that if you'd like. So thanks for your time. I hope you have a good one.